Yo, what you do? It's Cop TV. You already know what it is. Back at y'all with some knowledge. We got some knowledge right now on the young man from Chicago. Everybody know who he is. The drill king, the drill historian, Chief Keef. A lot of people don't know about Chief Keef background and some dangerous stuff that he did. So we gonna update the fans who don't know about this. But before we get into that, you already know what to do. Subscribe to this channel, turn on the post notifications, shout notification gang. If you want to be a notification gang member, all you gotta do is just comment notification gang on this video. But yeah, man, we're gonna take it to the map and we're gonna, jot it down and see what's going on with Chief Keef. See what he been through the early, stages of his career. We're gonna take it to the board. Let's get it. We gotta get that board nice and clean. You gotta get it nice and clean, you feel me? But we're gonna just start off with his name. So we're gonna start off with Chief Keef. Okay. This dude had a horrible childhood, man. Like, he was staying with his grandma. He knew his mom and everything. He was talking to his dad every now and then, but he was living with his grandmother. And, his grandmother spoiled him. He got to do whatever he wanted. He got to be in the streets or whatever he wanted to do. This led to a lot of trouble. He hooked up with the old block BDs. So Chief Keef hooked up with old block. And those were BDs. He was affiliated with these dudes, O Block and 600 Front Street at a young age. So Chief Keef was affiliated with these dudes at a young age, bro. It was already dangerous for him. He started making music, but before he started making music, he was in a lot of trouble. Chief Keef had a lot of mug shots. He had a lot of mug shots, and he still do to this day. One of the heinous crimes that Chief Keef did before he got this record deal was point a gun at a police officer. So he pointed a gun at police. That was one of the biggest mistakes that Chief Keef could have did. Chief Keef could have actually lost his life in this situation right here. Now, there was reports that he was walking up an alley or something with a big trench coat on, like an all black, real big trench coat, and he had like a shotgun or something on him. And the police confronted him. So we gonna say the police confronted him. They confronted Chief Keef when they seen him after they got that phone call that it was a man walking with a big trench coat on, and they said it looked like a gun was sticking out of this coat. This man was Chief Keef. He was the dude that was walking around with a trench coat, and I guess it was a shotgun. So the police, they confronted him, and when they confronted Chief Keef, the first thing he did was pull out the gun, right? So he pulled out the gun after getting confronted. He pulled out the gun on the police officer after getting confronted about why he had on that big coat. So he was confronted over a coat. So the police confronted Chief Keef over a coat. And he had a shotgun. So like I said, when they pulled up on him, they seen him in this big coat right here. He had a shotgun on him. He pointed a gun at them. And a shootout took place between the police and Chief Keef. So say shootout. So shootout takes place between Chief Keef and the police. So Chief Keef and the police had a shootout. We don't know how many times Chief Keef shot at them. In fact, we don't know if Chief Keef shot at them at all. But it was reports that the police shot at him. The police shot. They shot at Chief Keef, right? he ran down the alleyway or something like that. He was caught. They did catch him. So he was caught. But I don't think Chief Keef was hurt. He didn't get hit in the he didn't get hit with a bullet, so he was okay. I know his body, I know his adrenaline was just rushing and everything, but he was okay. He did not get hit. You know, that was one of the most scariest situations. So it was the scariest situation that Chief Keef was in with the police. Because he could have lost his life, man. Chief Keef could have, we wouldn't be able to hear this good music that this brother dropping. We wouldn't be able to hear it at all, so. That was kind of crazy. I feel like that was crazy. I couldn't even imagine having a shootout with the police. I couldn't even imagine having a shootout with the police. A shootout takes place. Like, just the story is just crazy just by hearing the story. It's just a crazy story. Like, Chief Keef, he should have had a better move. I don't know who was he beefing with, or, you know, we know he was beefing with the GDs or whatever, but it's the middle of the summertime, and you got on a trench coat, a big trench coat at that. This coat was real big, and it got the attention of a concerned neighbor, and that's what made them call the police on these dudes. So, a shootout takes place. He was caught for it, and he was let out. He was let out on house arrest. So he was let out of jail. He was let out of jail on house arrest, and he made a famous video that was called I Don't Like. That blew him up. While he was on house arrest, he made the video I Don't Like. So he made this video. He made this video I Don't Like when he was on house arrest, and that blew him up. It took him at the biggest height of his career. Like, still to this day, Chief Keef is rich and famous. He was rich and famous. Okay. And while he was still on house arrest, he couldn't go nowhere. Soulja Boy got involved with him. Soulja Boy gets involved with him off of this song I Don't Like, and he signs him to SODMG for a short amount of time. So he was finally rich and famous. He was hanging out with Soulja Boy, and he also scored a video. He also scored an interview with one of the biggest bloggers in Chicago while he was on house arrest, and that blogger was Zach TV. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Zach TV. He interviewed Chief Keef while he was on house arrest, waiting to get off, waiting to do the SODMG thing. He was the first one that can get that exclusive interview. And if I watched the interview, I actually watched it a couple times. You can tell that Chief Keef really ain't have nothing. You know, hand-me-downs, you know, basically living a life that he's not living right now. So, I believe Chief Keef pointing that gun, by Chief Keef pointing this gun at a police officer, it got him rich and famous. Because if he wouldn't have did this, he wouldn't have been on house arrest. And if he wasn't on house arrest, he wouldn't have been in the house bored and made this song I Don't Like. So that's why he's rich off of this song, for being on house arrest. If he wasn't on house arrest, I think Chief Keef would have been outside somewhere with a shotgun like he was. But he was bored. Came up with this song, and then he get all this Zach TV interview, and, a deal with Soulja Boy and SODMG. They actually did a whole mixtape together, shot videos, foreign cars. I like foreign cars. Shot a video, and it led him to being rich and famous. Now he's the biggest drill rapper in the world, so I'll say biggest drill rapper. He put drill on the map. This dude, he put drill on the map. He became a Chicago legend off this. He paid the way for all the artists. He put O-Block on the map. He put his cousins on, so he put his team on. So everybody wanted to know about O-Block, and everybody wanted to know about the BDs. Everybody wanted to know about the BDs. So a lot of people started from O-Block started to get famous. Like Lil Durk, he got a deal after that. And Lil Reese. These dudes got a deal. They got a deal and became rich and famous. You know, I think Zach TV even did an interview with Lil Durk. Zach TV did an interview with Lil Durk. You know, so if it wasn't for him wearing this trench coat and carrying this shotgun on him and getting on house arrest and getting bored and making this song I Don't Like, he wouldn't be rich and famous. He wouldn't be on Zach TV. He wouldn't be the person he is today. He wouldn't be the biggest drill rapper ever. He's the biggest drill rapper ever now. He's still getting paid off his old music in 2012, like Long Light. So Chief Keef been through a lot. Like, that's my thing about Chief Keef and this Shootout and what it did for his career. How did it boost his career? How did he get famous off this? Because this map, our map is taking us in the clearly, not a circle, but it's taking us on the straight, narrow path. And it showed us how he turned something negative into something positive. You know, he haven't been back to Chicago. He's not going back. So he's not going back. And guess where? He's not going back to O-Block. He's not going back to Chicago. He haven't been back there in years. In fact, Lil Durk and Chief Keef was even beefing at a point in time over $10,000. I already did a video on that. King Von was sneak dissing him. And Mimo 600 just recently said something to him on, I think it was IG or something. It was on something. He made a post about him, and Chief Keef just responded. But we're going to get to that on another video. But him and his team fell out over the riches and famous. They said that Chief Keef wasn't paid a 10K bond or anything like that. So he just stay away from Chicago. He don't even go back there. He's living his life. His house is a whole video game arcade. He doing good. I ain't even hear him dissing the NBA Youngboy. He's not even getting himself caught up in the NBA Youngboy beef at all. So, you know what I'm saying? What he's doing now is staying out of trouble. So he's staying out of trouble right now. I ain't even hear Chief Keef even getting in trouble yet. None this year, last year, or the year before. So he's staying out of trouble. He doing good. He's good on money, and he's doing good. So that's an A+ right there. He been out of trouble. We ain't been seeing him in the tabloids. He ain't been getting no beef or anything like that. So this map just takes us on a clear, straight path, narrow, to keep it through all this just to get over here, rich and famous. Like I said, if he wouldn't have pointed that gun at the police officer, he wouldn't have been on house arrest. And if he wouldn't have been on house arrest, he wouldn't have been bored and made on light. So y'all let me know about this, man. I'm proud of Chief Keef. Like I said, he doing a lot of stuff positive. He's still one of the biggest rappers out of Chicago who put the city on. So I'm glad that he took his riches and he left the city and he's not going back. Right, he's not going back. He on the straight narrow. He don't want to go back over this way. You know, so he's just moving up and elevating. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Comment y'all favorite Chief Keef song. You know what I mean? Comment your favorite Chief Keef song. Shout out notification gang. If you want to be a notification gang, remember just comment on this video. Like the video, help it grow, help your people see it. Let them get this good knowledge about Chief Keef. You already know what it is. It's called TV. We out of this thing. Gang.